What's going on, everyone? This is Dustin Stelzer with another episode of Journey to Master, and I have a guest today. So y'all probably remember Colton Goodra. He's got the LiveWire shirt on.
Always.
He's one of the LiveWire crew. He still works with me. He's becoming my cameraman these days. He's helping me out with all of this shit because these tool reviews are like way too much to keep up with. And my regular content is slowing way down because of it. So this dude is
gonna pick up some slack.
My fucking bud, man. He's gonna help. So you may notice a lot of really bad camera quality and audio.
I'm very new, man. I'm figuring this out.
So I just wanted to do an episode with Colton and talk about like his experience as an apprentice, because a lot of you that watch are apprentices or that are like trying to get into an apprenticeship. And so Colton has gone through, are you like fourth year now?
Yeah.
Like you've pretty much he's at the point where he can test. But I just wanted to get his perspective because he's also worked for a few different companies. He's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So tell your story.
Oh, God.
What made you get into this?
Honestly, I was waiting tables. You got me into this, really.
Well,
I mean, I knew that being in the service industry was never going to be something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I just didn't really know what to do, and so I was just comfortable. I was making money. So the company that you were working for had an opening, and you invited me to come try it out. And I won't say it, it's the first and only thing that I've ever done that I wasn't at least good at when I started, and it was hard to keep up with. But when you work around the right people all the time, it makes it a lot easier. And
well, dude, yeah. So I totally remember when you first started that you're very good at the things that you put your attention into.
Right.
And like me, I've got that only child thing, and my kid has it too. Like we want to be instantly good at whatever we put our mind to.
Yeah, dude. And really, I played sports and I waited tables, and that was
you were great at both of them.
Yeah, and so sticking with something that I wasn't good at was really, really hard. The only thing that made me stick around and stick with it was the people that I work with. I mean, just going to work and just being able to not sit at a desk all day and get to hang out, drill holes, pull wire, and just goof off all day while getting stuff done was the best part of my job.
Yeah, we kind of, where we were working when he came on was, we work at a company that's pretty lax about uniform. Yeah. You can wear shorts. We're not doing anything in industrial environments where you have to have hard hats on all the time. Most of the time it was large scale custom homes, 10,000 square foot custom homes or larger. Small commercial, and those are the ones where we would have a hard hat and wear boots and all of that stuff with. But we live in an area where, and we work for a specific company that I don't want to say they're lax on safety or anything like that, but they're just they want everybody to enjoy their job, and they don't take too seriously the fact that they're a company and they got to have company policies and handbooks. And I understand there's companies out there, there's bigger companies that have a lot of liability and insurance and stuff, but this ain't that. So he got to come in, and I remember you were my helper, one of the first helpers that I ever had.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you were my second helper.
We had a lot of fun, and we fucked a lot of shit up.
Yeah, we did. Me as a brand new person to leading jobs, trying to figure out, as a brand new licensed guy. I had my residential wireman's license at that time, too, so I think I was, probably my third year in or something like that. And so I still had a lot to learn. And so I was making mistakes while trying to teach somebody who you had, at this point, never touched a
the
tool.
Greenest person in the world.
Yeah, fixing car,
nothing. I had never done anything with tools. I think the only thing I'd ever used was a screwdriver, and that's it. And I don't even know what for.
And now you can use two screwdrivers. Yeah, we haven't gone a lot of places in 4 years, but he can use two screwdrivers.
I can use two at the same time.
That kind of looked like you were twisting
titties.
But so there's a point in your career that you got to where I've also gotten to in the past where you decided to stop doing this for a while.
Yeah. The only reason I ever stopped doing it was the company that we were working with ran out of work, and so I went to a different company, and that company was way more structured. We did a lot of work on the university in town. I was wearing a hard hat and like a denim shirt and blue jeans every day, boots, and the guy that I worked with, he was an older guy, and he was very he had what was called like his code. Like, we didn't get along at all. Let's just say that. That's what he's the guy I worked with last. So the reason I left that company and went on to do something else again was I just couldn't stand working with him anymore. But so I just got back into waiting tables because the people that you work with, like I said before, the people that we work with now are one of the things that keeps me motivated and keeps me wanting to go to work all the time. But this guy, dude, drove me out of the trade. Yeah. The people that you work with will make or break your experience in I feel like any job, really, but especially somebody that you're working with hand by hand, like with your hands all the time, and they're constant, like they're giving you, like telling you what to do, and you can be graceful about it or you can be an asshole about it. And the older guys who like kind of get stuck where they are and don't want to be there, they can get really, really shitty.
Yeah. That's another thing too. I did a video a while ago talking about like how to work with an asshole.
Yeah.
And something you got to realize too about a lot of guys that are assholes in this trade have been doing this for a very long time. They have zero patience anymore, especially not for somebody that's green. Yeah. And a lot of them just hate doing this anymore, but they've been doing it for so long that they don't have any other choices, and they're getting to the point where their bodies are like breaking down, and their health is breaking down, not just because they're in the trades, but just the decisions of when you're in the trades, you stop at a lot of like Whataburger and McDonald's, and you don't really
especially
take
when you
care
ride
of
around
yourself.
with you.
Yeah. Anyway, so they just end up being grumpy old fucking men, and some of those are very hard to work with. Some of them are cool as fuck though. But you've also had some experiences with working with people that traditionally everyone else around would be like, fuck that guy, I'm not working with them anymore, and you've gotten along with them.
It's true.
How did that go, or why?
Because everybody's different, man. You learn how to act with certain people, and I'd seen good sides of that guy, and so you know he's not a dick all the time. He just doesn't know how to communicate how he feels about certain things, and so if you fuck with him back, he thinks it's hilarious, and then you get along. And
isn't that the funniest shit
dude,
about it?
You just talk shit right back to him, and he laughs and thinks it's funny, and you just move on.
Yeah. So what is the shittiest part about your job every day, or just being an apprentice so far? Kind of, what do you not like so much about this?
I don't know that there's anything I truly dislike about it.
Like waking up at 4:35 in the morning?
It took me about 6 months to get good at it. And like once you as long as you go to sleep at a decent time, getting up early is not hard. You just have to change your daily habits. I think the only thing that I don't like is not knowing enough, really. Like when somebody said code stuff or I just don't feel like I know enough to be left alone yet. But I know I'll get there. It's a learning curve.
I don't agree with that. Yeah. I mean, you probably see that for yourself because there's a little hesitance, like you don't want to fuck something up.
Yeah, I'm real bad about that.
But that's where I like to try to push you to like just do something and figure it out. And when you're left alone, you actually do a really good job. One of the things about you that I like the most when I'm working with you is that you give a shit about what you're doing, and you don't walk away from something unless it looks really good. And there's every once in a while, we both do it. We both will be like, we got a case of the fuck it's the end of the day. That's good enough for today. I'll fix it tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, what do I say to you when you come up to me and you're like, does that look good enough? And I'm like,
if you had to ask, it's probably not.
Yeah. I was like, if you're happy with that, man. And he's like, fuck you. And he'll just walk away and redo
If that's your best work.
Yeah.
If that's what I say.
That's
your best work.
That's your best work. But like you give a shit a lot.
I do.
And
I know.
It helps having a helper that cares, because I can actually teach you because you ask questions and you want to know things and you care and you try to do good work.
Yeah.
So you and I don't have like a weird dynamic of like, I mean, I'm never an asshole to you.
No,
really. You're never an asshole. Always like goofing around maybe, yeah, but.
Yeah. If you walk away from something and everybody knows that you did it, especially you, like if I know that I did something, I want to look at it when I'm done and be like, yes, like that looks perfect. And I tend to spend a little bit too much time sometimes. I feel like that's where like my struggle is doing good work at a decent rate.
Yeah.
And I think that also comes with time as well.
Yeah, and you've worked with a lot of different journeymen too, and some of them
Yeah.
are balls fucking slow and meticulous, and everything is perfect, but you guys don't get very much done in a day.
True, and then you work with other guys who just speed through shit, and we'll get things done really fast.
But
And
they're
then you
wrong.
go to turn it on, and everything, it's like, 12 breakers will keep popping.
Yeah, and so you got to spend 3 times the amount of
Exactly.
work fixing problems.
So it just really, like, you have to learn, like, figure out what kind you want to be, and just go with that. Like, I think there's a happy balance in there somewhere, but I feel like taking the time with what you're doing, especially something that shouldn't be messed up. If you just take your time with it, make it look good, and know that when you flip a switch on, everything's going to work, why not just take the extra time and do that?
So where do you think that we fall as a crew? Where do you think we fall? What do you think we're good at, and what you like about us, like where we're at on that spectrum? And what do you think that we're not good at, or like we need to keep working on? Where do you see the pitfalls?
Well, what we're good at is you are the one that's running jobs, and you delegate tasks to do things. So you know what you're good at versus what I'm good at. Like, if something's going to take some time and it needs to look good, I feel like you tell me to do those things.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. I take the time with it, make it look good, and then the things that can be sped through, you just go and just knock everything out. Like, you'll get a lot more things done than I will, but I still feel like myself looks good by the end of the day. As far as, I think we have too much fun. I think that's all. I don't know if there's anything bad about it.
No, we've had
we
too much
goof
fun
around.
in the past.
Yeah.
We get shit done now.
Yeah, that's true.
I think where I would like us to be is I'd like us to be the crew that is known for fast accuracy.
Yeah.
Or accurate speed.
Yeah,
maybe
dude,
is
Boss
better.
Man even said it like Monday. He's like, I needed to send 2 guys over here who's going to make it look good, and nothing's going to get messed up. And he chose us, so that felt really cool.
Yeah, but we do fuck shit up. I mean, still, I'm
Who
a master
doesn't,
electrician.
man?
And there's still, like I won't. My problem is that I'm trying to work on is when I have a full crew of guys. I'm talking like 5 to 10 guys on one of my jobs. Training myself to work less. And like I always want to work still to this day. I've always been that way. When I've got 10 guys on a job, I will line every single guy out. I'll make sure everybody understands. I'll walk thoroughly with everybody, and then I go put my tools on and I get to fucking work. I don't ever just sit back on the plan and kind of look around at things and make sure everyone else is working. And that's something I need to do because there's value in making sure that everything is super accurate. And so down the line at some point, because I wasn't watching 10 guys and going through and like very, very anally checking what each one's doing, even if they're a journeyman, like checking everybody, we'll go to trim a job out and there's like a hot jumper missing in a room. And so we'll have to figure out how to fish a wire, and that shit shouldn't happen. Or we have arc fault breakers that trip. And granted, we're doing houses that have like 80 to 100 arc fault breakers. We do monster houses. But my goal is to have all of us trained well enough and myself attentive enough to what's going on with everyone that every wire is checked and there's not a single arc trip in the entire thing. We turn every breaker on. It's so meticulously done and flawless, and everything works first time. That may be a pipe dream, but I know there's older guys that are able to do that.
It's done.
They're not known for speed. They're known for very, very quality work, very craftsmanship-like. But I feel like we have the youthfulness and the give a shit enough and the knowledge of just through LiveWire of like what efficiency means and what time and money and caring about all that means.
Yeah.
But we're still young enough too that we just naturally have a fast pace, but we also care enough about the quality of our work that I'd like that to
I want to turn around and I want it to look good.
Yeah.
I really think that if you and I got thrown on a house to wire, trim, everything, I don't think there'd be anything wrong with it.
Right, it would take a while though.
It would take
two
longer.
people with an 8,000 square foot home.
But there would be no service calls. I mean,
yeah,
it would get done, and it would get done right.
Yeah, I hope so. There's been a couple of jobs recently that we've done that I feel it was my responsibility that things didn't end up the way that they didn't end up like that.
Yeah.
Granted, we had like 7 other people on, but it's my fault that I didn't check every fucking thing.
Dude, it's a fine line that you walk. Like, you have to. You want to work. I know you want to work. You want your tools on. You want to go to work. And you say you line everybody out, and then you get your tools on and you go to work. But as soon as you get your tools on and like start to do something, somebody's coming up and asking you questions.
Yeah.
It just
every fucking time.
When you have, I think you need to find like a limit. Like, if I have more than 3 guys, gonna have to leave them down. Just gonna have to leave them down for the day and just
because I can at least still be a ground guy doing stuff, and that's my work, rather than putting myself in a room and hoping to accomplish something for the day.
Because that's how things like that get done. Like, you have guys who don't have the experience or whatever the case may be, and that's how those things get missed, is because no one goes back and checks their stuff. Yeah. Like, I've worked with a couple of the other guys, man, and he's slow, but I didn't even notice that he went back and looked at everything that I did, and he found one thing. Like, I didn't put shims on a plug that was outside, so you push the plug into the wall and the whole plug would go in. It wouldn't sit flush on the wall because the hole was too big, and it just brought it to my attention. And like, when did you even go over there? I had no idea. So it's doable. You just have to find that balance.
Yeah, we were on a commercial job, and I went up with our boss up on the roof, and we were looking at stuff, and he's like a hawk. Like, he doesn't wear his tools anymore. Like, that's only like within the last year. He's always wore his tools ever since I've known him. And he can
still wears his tools sometimes.
He outworks every fucking one of us.
It's true.
And he's like halfway broken and got all kinds of health issues, but that motherfucker is the hardest working dude and the hardest man that I know.
Yeah,
but he's also one of the coolest, most sensitive, like, caring people on the planet. So, anyways, we were up on the roof, and we were looking at all this conduit that we just ran out, and he's like, "Man, this looks really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't do it. Like, so and so did this, and so did this." And he's like, "Oh, there's a strap missing over there." And I'm like, "Son of a bitch." And he looked over, and he was just kind of walking through, and walking at a fast pace too, not taking time to look at anything. But he's like, "Yeah, there's a strap missing over there," and we kept walking. He's like, "Oh, there's one there too." And I'm like, "God damn, you're like a hawk." And he's like,
he's just been doing it for long enough, dude. He just knows what to look for.
Yeah, but I realized once he said that's my job, I'm like, I'm a master electrician.
Maybe that should be your job.
That is my job.
It is your job.
So that's what I'm trying to get better at. I know, again, like, I've been doing this for 10 years, which is a small amount of time to be doing this. That doesn't mean that I'm like super experienced. It means that I have like a lot to go. Yeah. So I'm a fresh master electrician. So I'm still trying to just learn how my role needs to be different from being a journeyman to being a master electrician while working for another company. And it's humbling, man, because I'm very hard on myself, so I know that there's things that I should be doing better or doing more or whatever. But
I don't think that there's a right or a wrong in that one, man. It's just got to find your way. Yeah. Everybody does it differently. Like, just the 4 or 5 guys that run jobs at our company, nobody does anything the same. Yeah. It's you just got to find whatever works best for you and keeps everything getting done and not messed up.
Yeah. So I guess let's shift the conversation a little bit. We know what we're trying to do, and all of that's great. But I want to talk about LiveWire. So okay. Emily and I did a video where we just put everything on the table and said, like, this is why we closed up. This is what we learned. These are the good things that we think any of you that are doing this should do. And this is what we probably should have done differently. But that was just from her and my perspective. But you were there every step of the fucking way too. Financially, like, you were there. You knew what was going on with estimates, like all of it, everything. So I kind of want to just hear your perspective. Like, what do you think? What do you recommend for? No, let's start it out positive. What do you think we did right? What were you like happy as fuck that if we ever did it again, you were like, that was pretty awesome?
I'll dial it back to the same thing that I said was the best thing about this trade in the first place is I got to go to work every morning with the best, the best friends that I've got, and I mean, we had a lot of fun, and we got some, like, we were brand new, you know, like, we did some things wrong, but we had a lot of fun. Everybody that we went to, like, to do work for, dude, we made relationships with people.
Everybody was cool as
fuck man. Exactly. Like
we treated people right.
Exactly. Like, we would talk to them and not just, you know, I don't know, like, what is, I guess, a stereotypical construction worker acts like. Just come in, ask them how they're doing, and one of the things that you instilled in me with working with you was leave the job cleaner than what you found it. So, like, any mess you make, always clean up your stuff, always do the best work that you can, and I mean, just give a shit, really. Just give a shit about their stuff. It's their house that you're going into. Yeah. So as long as you show that, like, you're considerate about their things, people eat that shit up.
Yeah. I think that we were doing things for somebody who's as young in this trade, for both of us as young in this trade as we were, and somebody that's got like no business experience at all.
Yeah.
I think that we outshined most of the companies in our area. Like the reviews, the just word of mouth, how things were spreading. Like we got so fucking busy. We had so much work that we were pushing shit like 2 to 3 months out. But people were willing to wait because they just wanted us to do it because of our reputation.
Was a cool feeling, man. I remember that. That was cool.
We kind of used social media. We did videos, put some music to it. We made it interesting, and we kind of just had like a fun time with it all.
Yeah, right. Well, you like to do the video editing, things like that, and we took a youthful perspective into running a business rather than just doing, like you say, most electricians, especially master electricians, are 50, 60 years plus. All they do is like word of mouth. They get like their select builders they want to work with, and that's it. That's all that they do. They don't take the time to do any marketing with it, and like
they do the wrong kind of marketing. They're like paying for like phone book ads, or they're like putting ads in newspapers, and like nobody fucking watches that, or, you know.
Yeah, dude. Like there was that one video that you put out that went over like the 360 bridge, even the video that had you, Luke, and I working at the Hat Creek and putting those lights in outside, dude. That was
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that was dope. That was really cool. I think that the video aspect of it and just like that youthful perspective probably went a long way.
Yeah, I think the downfall in that is that I was spending so much time putting the appearance of our company out that I was not able to keep up with the work of the company, and even with Emily, you, and me, the three of us splitting responsibilities. Like, you did more than just be an apprentice.
Oh, absolutely.
You're my homie. We've been friends for 10 years, so that's the other side of it. I was fortunate enough that, like, if we were going through problems, he was just like, dude, don't worry about it. Let's just figure this out. Let's get off the road. So I was lucky in that fact. I didn't just hire an employee out of nowhere. And that's something I don't think I've ever really talked about. Luke, too, the other guy that was working with us, like, he's family to me, but he still works with us at the company that we're with. So it's just like now we're able to see how another company is successful doing it. They're not doing any of the social media. They don't do anything. Like our bosses.
You have to remember, though, like, you had no business experience, really. Really. I mean,
I had like marketing understanding how social media works and all that.
The money in versus the money out. We did a lot of things wrong, and we would have material built up at the shop, and we would get jobs and we wouldn't have it, and it would be at the shop, and we'd just go buy more. We just spent a lot of money, and we thought we were well organized until we got to the job, and we were like, fuck, I don't have this, that, or that. I'm like, and then you get screwed. That's where you lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you spend more money that way.
Yeah. And I think I underbid most of our work.
Yeah, you were trying to get work.
I should have charged far more. It's like, I don't know, when you're sending somebody a bill or like a quote estimate for $10,000, like 10 G's is a lot of money to just say you need to give me this money. Like at first, my first couple of bids that were like $5-6 grand, I was just like, ooh, that's a lot of money. Like, can I do this cheaper? I can get away with doing this cheaper. Like that's just silly. Like, it's based on my hourly rate. It's based on materials and a markup, and I costed everything, what insurance cost me, all that. But I should have just stuck with that number.
Maybe even added a grand to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Time.
You just never know how long something is going to take. Like, you can take all the time you want to and bid it out, and like how long you think everything's going to take. But just like when you hear people talking about remodeling houses, once you tear into walls, you're like, holy shit, there's way more here than I knew. Yeah. And that's that was one of the things that killed us the most. Yeah, the guy that we work for now, he told me a long time ago that, and I wish I would have listened to it instead of just gotten overzealous and like, but he said that there's going to be a point in you bidding things and getting jobs where you're going to realize that you are getting every single job and you're not getting refused any of them. And he said at that point you need to realize that your price is too cheap. Like, you need to be charging more. People are willing to pay your prices, and to keep the amount of work you can handle at a good manageable level and still be profitable and make money, you want to be in between. Well, the other thing he said is if nobody's accepting anything that you're putting out, you're way too expensive. So he said there's a middle ground there where you're able to do the right amount of work for the right price and people love your shit. And again, if you start getting too busy and you've raised your prices and you're just way too overwhelmed with work,
raise the shit again. Like, keep raising your prices, because obviously your work and your ethic and your customer service and everything combined is good enough that people are comfortable paying that to you. So you may not be the best company. Like, I'm not. I was not the best master electrician in town. I did my best work that I know how to do at this time, and I always did that, and customers could tell that. That's why we were getting jobs, not because I knew the most as an electrician. I don't. I absolutely don't. I'd never say that I do. But I didn't really figure out that place with our pricing, so we just kind of got our lunch eaten. I got to the point where I needed so much help that I was just like, dude, you want to come back and do this with me? I really fucking need help right now. I don't know. I've never had to pay somebody full time, so like, we'll work that out and I'll still pay you, but just understand, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with paying people, but I just need fucking help.
Yeah.
And you, from the get, you were good. And we never had a check bounce for you or anything, I don't think, right?
No, nothing like that ever happened.
I paid you and worried about making sure you were paid more than I paid myself.
Yeah,
that was the other problem.
Yeah, making sure that the company was taken care of.
Yeah.
We just let it slip. We're electricians. Neither one of us knew how to run a business. I think if we were going to do it again, we need to have like a business plan put together and like reviewed, and like, because that's a big side of it. You're not at that point, you're not an electrician anymore. You're a business owner.
Yeah.
And that is completely different.
Well, I had a business plan.
Yeah.
It just didn't
Execute that way.
My plan was way underplanned for, or whatever,
there's a million variables.
Yeah,
that
like
you
I thought I
never
was
knew
going to
what
make this much
for.
money, and I realized, oh my god, I have this many bills. I didn't realize I was going to have that many bills, and just to make the phones ring, I have to spend this much money, and I only planned for this much. And fuck, like having an employee, I thought I could do this, but then there's all these taxes that you don't realize, because I didn't have all of the knowledge ahead of time, so things cost way more. So, anyways, that was really, like, I got to the point where I was just like, dude, why the fuck am I doing this? Emily and I are not making a dime. The guys that are working for us are being paid, but we're fucking suffering over here.
Yeah, lost.
And we're freshly married. Like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah, dude. The downfall of it was sad to like know it was going down.
Emily, like the same thing.
It was rough.
Like, God damn it! I don't want to just give up on this. But at the same time, I don't want to fucking do this, and I'm doing it, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, like.
Once you got a better grasp for how to actually do it, I'd be completely cool with doing it again and taking, doing, just changing things up a little bit. You got to learn from your mistakes. That's the like number one goal there.
On that note, I did have a guy contact me recently from Dallas who said, "Hey, I want to start a company called LiveWire Electrical Services LLC instead of incorporated. Can I have your permission to do it?" And I was like, no, my company's still open. I still do side work and stuff, so no, you can't. So if you're in the Dallas area or you hear of anybody else starting a LiveWire Electrical Services, I told that motherfucker no. So don't be using my name. No, but I still do work, man. That's one of the cool things that I'm still glad that I got my master license. I still have insurance. I still have a contractor's license. So when I get off work, if like this weekend I have a side job that I'm doing on a Saturday, and I can do that legally and not get in trouble with the state, so I can still make money on the side like I wanted to. So that's still working out for me. I'm not giving up on the company. I'm just not having an office and staff.
I'm not just putting all my fucking biscuits in that basket. You know what I mean? Like, get there eventually.
But the other thing is, like, it was cool, man. We were doing custom work. There was people that were like, we want light fixtures made, and we want like these light poles we want you to like get up there with a welder and fucking make this work. And
yeah, dude, we did some cool stuff. We really did some cool stuff.
And I think that I would like to do that more. I'd like to do like custom lighting, making things, and then going out and doing the installs on them more than dealing with permitting with the city for rebuilding services and trenching underground and like, I just don't. I don't want to do that for my specialty. I would rather be known as like being able to make things work and figure out problems and customize lighting.
It's that artistic side of you that wants to do that shit.
But I've always thought that if I could get my artistic side and my mechanical side in line and do something, like I would be so happy the rest of my life. Like making custom light fixtures.
Fucking do it. I mean, let's fucking try it.
No, dude, you're fucking down for like
always,
anything.
dude.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps everything up. So, overall, being an electrician, like, you're still happy with it? Or are you
absolutely.
Are there days where you're just like, fuck this, I don't want to do this?
Everybody has their days with everything. Like, today, as you can probably hear, I feel like shit. But I mean, you still go to work, you still get around all the people that you enjoy being around, and it can like really make your day better. Like, I love my job because it really makes my life better. Like, I enjoy going to work.
You're not balling. You're not getting paid like
no. I'm an apprentice.
You're paying your bills.
Yeah,
but
I'm getting by, but I'm enjoying myself, and it has the potential to do as much as I want it to. Once I get to the point where you are like a master electrician and you can do work for yourself, man, you can make it be whatever you want it to be. I remember we were working on a job on the coast, and dude, I had to do some shit. I was shit work. It sucked. I had to put remodel or add cans on a deck on their back patio, and it's a crawl space like this big, and it sucked. I cut myself up. I've gotten way better about that. You have to give me credit for that. When I first started this, dude, I was so claustrophobic. I was up in an attic that was big. It was fine. And my flashlight went out, and I literally had a fucking panic attack. I screamed bloody murder. Yeah. And now I will do stuff like this, where, like, at one point in that crawl space, in between, like, the roof and where the top of that, the wood was, there was like at one point it was like this. Like I had to just like lay on my side, get in here and do all this stuff, and it sucked, dude. I had to put like 8 cans in. It took me like an hour and some change. And then I got down and like went over to you and like, all right, what's next? And you're like, how was it? And I was like, I really wouldn't want to do anything else. Like, what else would I be doing?
Yeah.
So, like
sitting at a desk,
yeah,
like filing
fuck that.
paperwork, typing up emails to somebody, and dealing with ambiguity.
Yeah, dude, fuck that shit. I'm not a suit and tie guy. I never was, never have been, never will be. It makes me really uncomfortable. I just don't like it.
Plus, ladies love a rough-handed man.
Dude,
all you soft-handed men out there, I'm just letting you know, not judging you, but women like a rough-handed man.
Yeah, man. It's like, am I enjoying it? Absolutely. I'm getting now, like, some things have happened in my life to where, like, I will say that I take my job now way more seriously than I ever did before. And when you apply the right effort into learning it, dude, you can learn how to do anything. Mm-hmm. And so I get better. I feel like I get better every single day. And I know that at some point I'll get to the point where I want to be. So am I enjoying it still? Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So then 2 things. One, what do you have to say to other apprentices out there that are just getting into this as like just tips for them to like be a good apprentice, and like what should they do and not do?
Okay, do's and don'ts. Do's. Show up on time. That one is a big one. People that, especially the older guys that you're working with, when you don't show up on time, that gets on their nerves more than anything. If you show up on time with with all the shit that you're gonna need for the day, and you don't complain throughout the day, dude, that will make a good apprentice. Just show up and don't bitch. Just do your work and then ask questions. Learn as much as you can, because the people that you're working with, for whoever they may be, know more than you do. Don't try to act like you know everything, because you don't, and that's okay. You have to learn, and that's the best way you can learn. That's one of the reasons I love this job the most, is because I never had to go through like a school. I didn't have to go through a training. It was like, throw me in there and let me figure it out, and then as long as you ask questions, you can learn anything about it that you want to. That would be my biggest do, I feel like.
What about, we talked earlier, but you said about pretending to know shit versus like just listening, like shutting your mouth.
Oh, dude, I'm still bad about that.
Well, no, but you had mentioned it. We had talked before, and that was like a thing you were going to say that you wanted to talk about to apprentices to like.
Oh, I remember when we did this before.
Yeah, we recorded this once before.
Yeah,
we fucked it
tried.
all up.
Yeah,
so.
We tried to. Oh man, dude, I was on a roll that
Basically,
day too.
you just said, dude, the one bit of advice I have for you is shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's gonna care how much you think that you know. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna give a shit how much you think you know. The more you try to pretend like, oh yeah, I got this. Oh, I already knew that. You didn't have to tell me that. I already know. And like you try to pretend like you know a bunch of shit to try to impress everyone around you because you want them to like you. The more it's gonna piss people off. Like, we really just want you to honestly not know things and be okay with that and learn things. And if you know a little bit, that's cool too. But a lot of people out there feel this kind of inadequacy when they're new at something, and they've got all these guys that are experienced at it, so they want to show them what they know. But everyone in this trade knows you don't know a fucking thing, so you're not impressing anyone. Even if you're an apprentice for 4 straight years, and you start getting really good, you're still not impressive to anybody.
Yeah.
Once you get a license and you've been doing this for years and years, then you might do some shit that's impressive, but you've got to learn that you just need to shut your mouth. When somebody is telling you something that you already know, just be like, okay,
oh,
cool.
yeah.
You don't have to have an ego and be like, well, I already knew that. Why did you say that? That doesn't gain anything to anybody. Just shut your fucking mouth. And when somebody is trying to explain something that you already know or wants you to do something, just be like, cool, I got it. That's it.
Yeah.
And you'll be known as somebody that busts ass and just listens.
That was one of the first things I was told by the guy that I was working with when I first started. We were on our way to a job, and he's like, you're not going to impress me with your knowledge, you're going to impress me with your work ethic. And we were friends. So it was weird to go into that realm where we weren't just being friends, like we were going to work. And the way that you put it, we were in the car, like, you're not going to impress me with what you know. You don't know anything. Just do what I tell you to do and do it well, and then you'll learn as much as you want to learn.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation to the day, man.
Yeah, I've had some. That's funny that you remember all these things that I've said to you. Cause I don't
Well, you just remember that thing. I didn't remember any of that shit that I said.
But I've had helpers in the past that, like, they have read about the word resistance, and they've, like, read about voltage, and they'll start calling amperage voltage because they just want to be like, well, yeah, when I was over here, I looked at this, I tested the amperage with my meter, and there was all this resistance, and it's just like, okay, you think that you know some things. Yeah, you might have taken an electronics course at the community college or whatever, but it's so obvious to me that you don't fucking know. You don't realize how obvious it is that you don't know shit. So it's better to just shut your mouth and accept that you're a student to a brand new trade. And if you walk in and tell them, my guys, I know not a goddamn thing about this. I want to learn everything there is to know. So please just teach me. I'll shut my mouth. I'll work my fucking ass off. And instead of talking a lot of game, I'll work a lot of game. And that's how I'll show you my worth.
Preach.
Think about that. So that's the advice,
dude,
for apprentices.
Yeah, show up. The guys that you're working with expect you to not know anything. All that they want, really, when you first start, is show up on time, be ready to go to work, and just put your tools on and get to work. I mean, just don't treat it like it's a job. I mean, it's a job. Don't treat it like it's not important. Like, you can show up whenever you want to, because I've worked with guys who do that, and they don't last long. Just take it seriously, because it's, I mean, as long as you take it seriously, you can take it as far as you want to.
Yeah, and anticipating need is a really important thing. Like, what we want to see as licensed guys is we want to see a helper that's always ready for the next task.
Yeah.
Or that when we're doing something and they happen to be walking by, they'll check out and be like, he's going to need this fucking coupling here in a second.
Yeah.
So as soon as you turn around, it's like, I already got you, man. You go. Like, you're always watching out for each other and trying to make each other's job more efficiently. We love that shit. So anticipating need is something that you really need to think about what that phrase means.
Yeah,
and
for
your
sure.
job as an apprentice, there's a reason we call you helpers. Because you're not, like, I don't ever just make you run to the truck. I've never, like, just been like, hey, go get me a coupling, go get this, go get that. If there's nothing to do, you're like, hey, what do you want me to do? And I'll be like, yeah, go run and get me a ladder or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've always had you wear your tools next to me. We both dig into shit.
Yeah.
I ask you all the time, like, dude, how do you think we should do this? Because that's fucked up. And you'll come up with a really good idea, and it was the better idea.
Yeah.
So.
Well, oh, man, I had a good point for that a second ago. It's like they leave my head so fast.
Getting old. It's
I
all
know,
this,
man.
It's all this,
dude,
this gray
I
shit.
know.
I got it too.
I feel like you're older than me, and I feel like I'm way more gray than you. Why do you think I put this hat on? It's like gray.
Yeah, I try to, like, wear things that are hip and youthful, so it hides the
like
fact
my
that I'm
beanie.
really getting fucking old and I'm gonna die soon. No, I'm not. I don't want to say that. That's jinxing it. Anyways, that's all I got, dudes. We should probably wrap this up because it's got to be like 45 minutes by now that we've been
Probably.
talking, and we're not that interesting.
I
We're cool with
yeah.
fucking people.
It'd be one thing if we had a like pretty face.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's why I have a beard.
Anyways, I love you, crazy motherfuckers. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Deuce.